Mm, hey,
Hey, what's up, y'all? What's up?
Whoa, this is a good topic.
It really is.
And we have to get it started. And so if
Mm-hmm.
you are joining us, you already know how we do. We got our new glasses. So show off our new glasses tonight, boo.
Show off the new glasses.
These are the new glasses tonight. Yeah. Look at that stem. Woo, look at that stem. Oh my, isn't that a sexy glass, y'all? Do you like it? Yes. I mean, that's the sexy glass. And look, what's yours? These are new glasses that our friends Yvette and Marcel Hickens gave us. Mm-hmm. They wanted us to be a little bit, they wanted to upgrade us.
Yeah, upgrade us a little bit.
They were like, yeah, we ain't know about your glasses that you be having all the time. But you know what? Turn it down a little bit, boo. Y'all know the song? Thank you, Rhonda. She said, nice glass. Thank you. I'm sorry. But do y'all hear the music? Do you hear the music? We got to get in the flow. I love the song. We're taking it back a little bit. Uh-oh. They'll never be.
Never be, babe.
Come on. Oh, yes. You got to lean on it. Mm-hmm. Never be a better love.
Never be a better love.
Y'all know about this? It's a switch from back in the day. Back in the day. Hello. Uh-oh. Let me see the top of your body move. Let me see how you doing. Yes.
If y'all at home and y'all got y'all boo next to him, go ahead and put your arm around him and give him a little kiss. Give him a little kiss just to let him know that you love them. That they're yours and you theirs.
Uh-huh. Don't try to hide your nature. What's up, Shan? Hold on now, Brandy. Hold on now. Yes. Some music make you almost give you like, I know this don't seem right. Turn down a little bit.
They give you what?
It seems like give you a feel like you're in church almost.
You think this give you a feel like you in church?
You know, you get the spirit a little bit. It's give me a different type of spirit. But it goes, well, la 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 la. Uh-oh. La 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 la. Uh-oh.
Go ahead, get it, babe.
Whoa, la 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 la. Uh-oh. Whoa.
So they don't make music like that no more.
Joining us?
Nope, they don't. We don't. We don't make music like that no more.
You see the glass, Yvette? All right, y'all.
Oh, you gotta let this thing ride out, though.
Oh, I know. This your part. You like the slow parts.
Mm-hmm. The whole thing's slow.
No, it was a little more groovy. Uh-oh.
Just want to set the glass real slow.
Hold up, we want to know where you are watching us from. Where are you watching us from? Please go ahead and drop that. Where are you coming from? We're in the DMV, the DC metro area.
Make sure you share this right here. We're about to get this thing on and pop it in a minute.
Hold up. Y'all listen now.
Never be. Nope, not at all.
Oh my.
I see you, Cheyenne, New York City.
Yeah.
Brooklyn
in the house.
Mm-hmm. I see New Jersey in the house.
All right, Krista from Upper Marlboro. Yes. Thank you for sharing that, Sham. Sham holds us down. Really I just have to go ahead and, if y'all don't know Sham Jones, first of all, Sham drops knowledge all day long, every day on Facebook. And so he's worth following. But I just want to say thank you, my brother. Thank you. Akakeek is in the house. What up, Akakeek? Go ahead, gal.
I'm right around the corner from her.
Selma, Alabama. All right. The DMV. What's up, Michelle? We got Mandy from Virginia. We got Vince from Clinton. Hey, Vince.
Hey, Yvette and Marcel, I ain't got no rice milk in here tonight. This is just straight, absolute. No rice milk. I normally put the rice milk in here. So if any of y'all was wondering, like, what is he drinking?
Yeah, because every week he looks like milk in his glass.
Yeah, it looks like milk. But now I put the
like
milk
a weak drink.
In the absolute. And it tastes really good.
What is this?
It's just straight vodka.
Yeah. That's something different. That's something different right there, yeah. That's something different. All right, guys. So you all are with us this evening because something about this video or this live stream, the title. Wait a minute, hold on.
Hey, while y'all letting us know where y'all from, let us know. Yep, straight up. Let us know what you drinking. If you're drinking anything right now. If you're drinking water, let us know.
Yes,
If you're drinking wine, let us know. Let us know what you're drinking right now. What you sipping on?
Oh, okay, we're about to stop, y'all. We need to get started on this topic because we're going to get it going tonight. But hold up. Y'all hear that? La, 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 la. All right.
Krista said, la, 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 la.
Yes. All right, guys. So my name is Aiyana. This is my fabulous on-point protector, my defender, my coverer, my confidant, my best friend, my boo. All of that.
I'm all of that.
And then some more, but I'll stop there. This is my husband, Ayize, my aunt. And we are relationship coaches. We are licensed therapists, and we do this work not just because we're trained in it, because it's really for real, like literally what we do. We coach couples, we counsel couples, we come together and we do all kinds of retreats and workshops and that kind of thing, but because it's our call.
Yeah.
It comes natural to us. We've been through some things. Well, we've been through quite a few things. And so, we lean into this place because it's where we find so much, what's the word? Gratification, healing. Yeah. And people think like,
food from that.
Thank you so much for what y'all be saying. But let me tell you, it's straight up, we get something from it. It's a little selfish, just a little bit, because I can't sit up here and talk about what needs to happen and what needs to go down in a relationship and then not do it myself. Well, I can, but you'll let me know.
Oh, I will. I'll hold you accountable real quick.
You'll let me know. All right, guys. So have y'all heard about...
Hold on. Before I just want to say this.
Okay.
Hey, Sham already represented. So what I need is some other people to go ahead and share this live stream right here. Share it to your folks. Share it to your page, your timeline. Let people know to hop on right here. Because again, as we always do, every single week, we're going to give you some gems that you can apply to your relationship. And hopefully the other people that come on after this will be able to apply it as well. The other thing that I want to say, too, is that even though we're licensed therapists, this ain't therapy, y'all.
Right.
This ain't therapy. So I want to qualify that real quick. This is not therapy. This is us giving our opinion, our educated opinion about some topics, and, just letting y'all know some things about how to make this relationship thing work. Yeah. A minute ago, my wife, she mentioned that we are qualified based off of our education. But outside of that, we've been doing this thing for a long time, y'all. So I know somebody inevitably is going to come on this live stream later on and be like, who y'all? Y'all married? Y'all even married? So here's the ring. We married. We've been married for 15 years now, together for 22.
Yes.
And we got 5 children.
Well, y'all just go ahead and just give me prayers up. Just make a like button. Go push the like prayers up, because 5 kids is a lot.
I saw somebody last week say, somebody hopped on the live stream and they was like, so how long y'all been married? Are y'all even married? Yeah. And then, what one of the people who were watching said was like, I think you might have missed the beginning of the live stream. So they redirected them back to the beginning just to let them know that, yeah, we've been through some things and we handle our business.
Thank you. Yeah, y'all filling me with the 5 kids. Thank you. I see Devontae on. Hey, Devontae, you've been coming up back faithfully, and I always appreciate your feedback representing Miami. Okay, so we wanted to talk tonight. The topic is really about looking at lessons that we can learn from breakup, from divorce. And Alicia, I know she said they got 4, so she already know what's up. You in the same club.
Yeah, James was like, 5 children, refresh that glass.
Keep it refreshed. Yes. Okay. So look. All right, so you all have you heard about some of the breakups? Some of these things are coming out more, being reported on now more recently, but they have been happening. We just hadn't been privy because it's not our business, for real. And so some people may ask, well, why are y'all talking about this? Why are y'all talking about this? Why are you talking about relationships in the spotlight with celebrities and so forth? And so I want to be really clear. What we're looking for anytime we come to you, whether it's about a celebrity, which generally it isn't, or whatever we're talking about, what we're coming to you looking for is for trends, for themes, for lessons. There are always trends that happen in relationships in general. There will be trends and themes that you can find in your own relationship. You're like, what's up with that? Like, why do I keep saying that? Because you up in it, you know what I'm saying? Because wherever you go, there you are. Because there are some particular things that African Americans deal with in a very unique way that other folks do not deal with. And so when we're not aware of that, we don't have the ability to connect the dots so that we can proactively plan and prevent some things for ourselves. So we're looking for some lessons up in here. So how many of y'all have heard about the most recent, I don't know if this is the most recent, I believe it is, the most recent situation with Jill Scott and Mike Dobson? I'm looking at my notes here. They were married for either 15, I've seen 2 different things, 15 or 18 months.
Mm-hmm.
And they calling it quits. Did you know that?
Yeah.
They straight up calling it quits. And my brother, I said my brother because he is a brother, but I don't know him. You know, he's made quite a few comments out here in the public talking about, you know, she thinks that, you know, she can just control me. Yeah. I'm not the one. I'm not going for that. She wants to discredit him, saying that he was not employed. And there was rumors of her putting out a divorce. I'm sorry, a separate. What is that thing called? A protective. You know what it is? Protective order. A protective order most recently. But she did, and let me just read this. She cited inappropriate marital conduct. And under Tennessee state law, inappropriate marital conduct includes cruel treatment, infidelity, verbal or physical abuse, or sexual indecency. So we don't know what that means. And I just want to be very clear. This is not commentary on Jill Scott. This ain't commentary on Mike Dobson. You know, Jill Scott, I've had more exposure to her in general, but she seemed like, a very decent person. But how is it that you get into a relationship and 15 months, 18 months later, after y'all was like, you know, yes, we're married now, it's over. It's done with.
That's an excellent question to ask to me about that. How does that happen, y'all? I mean, if any of you all are in a relationship right now and you only 18 months in, do you find yourself in a space where you're actually ready to throw in the towel? I mean, even if we go beyond 18 months, let's say we're looking at like maybe 2 years, 3 years, or even 5 years. How do you get into a space in a relationship where you actually stood in front of this person, in front of the altar, and said, I do? And in that moment, there was some intensity when it came to the feelings, the emotions, the words that you expressed. You said, I do, because you wanted to commit your life to this person forever. So how, in such a short period of time, do you arrive at a space like, I'm done. I'm throwing out the towel. I'm giving up. I'm throwing my hands up in the air. How do you get there? Because I know some people on this live stream right now are probably in that space right now. You're in a relationship. You've been in a relationship for a short period of time, but you're already ready to walk out. Why?
And it's not just the short relationships, because also Lawrence Fishburne and his wife, they recently, you know, put out in the public that they're getting a divorce. Gina Torres, she's also an actress. They parted ways last year, but they've been together. Guess how long they were together for?
14 years.
14 or 15 years. I saw 15 years. So 14 or 15 years. You know what? Tamar and Vince Herbert. Some folks is like, I know you ain't talking about no Tamar up in here, but we're going to talk about it. Okay.
So I'm saying a couple of different answers in here. I'm saying because it was convenient, the feelings are fickle.
Oh, James, you just dropped it. And he said, commitment is not about feelings. And people do get caught up in their feelings, right? So whether you are 18 months in, like Jill Scott and her husband were, whether you are like Lawrence Fishburne and his wife, 15 years in, we had Aiyana Van Zandt, who is dropping knowledge, you know, all the time. And she gives great knowledge and great wisdom and great insight. And there are lots of folks who have differences in opinion about how worthy they think her advice is. But let me just say this.
Talking about Aiyana is a touchy subject.
It's a touchy subject.
It's a very touchy subject, especially when it comes to Black women.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I love Aiyana. And I think she has loads of information to offer. And I have gotten a lot. However, you know, you have to ask yourself, wait a minute, she was in a relationship for 14 years and she ended it. And so what is that about? Essentially what she said is, I realized 14 years after the fact, this is not how I want to be loved. And her lesson was clear. You get to choose who you're in relationship with. You don't have to stay stuck in something just because you made a decision. And at the same time, you have to be able to see the reality of what you're dealing with and call it what it is. But you still, you know, me, just being honest, say, but it took 14 years. How long is taking some of y'all? How many of y'all in relationships, and it's taken you a long time to get to a place of understanding? And then the greater question my husband and I talked about is this: not judging anyone. Tamar and Vince, they were together for 9 years. Okay, there are some rumors of domestic violence all up and through Tamar.
Tamar and Vince, though, y'all are 14 years in this relationship, but 3 marriages prior to that.
3 marriages?
Yeah.
Are you sure about that? I think one was to the same person.
I'm just saying.
I think she got married twice to the same person. They broke up and they got back together. So what's going on? my husband and I said, we need to kind of look at some of these dynamics and broaden the scope here and try to figure out what's going on and what is happening so that people feel as though they cannot endure. And the first thing tonight, the first lesson that we want you to know and to understand, I know my husband's going to break this down, is that first of all, second of all, and third of all, this is not an intellectual understanding that you can have. You might get it intellectually, but you will only know it if you allow yourself to go through it. Marriage has seasons. Marriage has seasons. So you can be 1 year in, 2, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, and you're in a different season. And you might be like, who is this person? Who this Harpo? Who this? Because I don't know who you are. Because this ain't who I got married to. Is that not right?
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely
true. So talk about the seasons.
That's really true. I mean, specifically as it pertains to this whole divorce piece, I mean, what I want to lift up is that oftentimes when people are approaching divorce, they find themselves in the winter season of a marriage. And essentially what the winter season represents is a space where there's extreme challenge, where there's discontent, where there's hurt, where there's anger, where maybe there's some resentment in the relationship. And so when people find themselves in this space, I mean, depending upon what your stamina is, what's your relationship stamina?
Oh my.
If you don't have stamina when it comes to being in a relationship, then what you'll end up doing is you'll tap out.
Wait. Did y'all write that down? For those who are taking notes, who are taking this seriously, write it down. What is your relationship stamina? You really need to ask that self. I mean, ask that self. I ain't even had that much wine yet, y'all. I promise I haven't. You need to ask that of yourself because there is a certain level of fitness that you have to have before you get into the game of marriage. There's a certain level of competency. Is that not right?
Yeah.
You have to be able to pass certain marks, certain tests. And if you don't even know where you fall with that, and you don't know if you have the stamina, you will start to lose your breath. Isn't that right? Because what is marriage? Marriage is a marathon. Marriage is not a sprint.
Not a sprint.
And if that's the case, then certain times, you want to kind of hurry up and get through this. I remember, can I just say this real quick? I know you was talking. I
don't know what you're about to say, but you can go ahead and hijack it. go ahead and do that.
I remember, and I'm sure I've said this before, back in the day, we were in counseling early on in our marriage. And we were in counseling. I think we actually might have talked a little bit about this last time, but not from this angle. We were in counseling and we were going back and forth because I was not satisfied with my husband's level of getting out there and holding down a job. Remember that?
Yeah.
I know you remember.
Yeah, we did talk about this.
We did, but not from this angle. You're trying to shut me down. Like,
no, I'm just
talking about this last time. Why you keep talking about when I was not getting a job the way you wanted me to get a job? Don't try to shut me down. So here's the angle though. So that was the issue, right? And so I remember being in counseling. And do you remember me saying this? I said, when? Because I'm telling you, we had been back to the counselor's office probably at this point 20 times at least. 20. I mean, but what were we doing? We're staying the course, right? But at least 20 times. And I was about tired of having the same conversation. Anybody know about that? I'm tired of having the same conversation, saying it in a soft way, saying it in a more assertive way, crying when I say it. I'm angry when I say it. You ain't listening to me, black man. What's going on? So what I said to the counselor, I said, I just want to know, when are we going to be done with this? Like, when is this going to be through? Like, when will we be over this part? Just based on your professional experience, when will this part be done so we can move on? I'm tired of having this conversation. And it was causing me much pain that did not just exist when I went to the counselor's office, but every day of the week. I'm tired. Anybody know what I'm talking about? You know what? I'm just tired. I can't keep dealing with this. And so when we get to those places where we are tired, thank you for sharing the video, Kali and Delisa and others. Please share it to those who you think might benefit. When we get tired, y'all, we always have a choice, and we're always at a crossroads moment. And the crossroads moment is that you can tap out. I'm out. I'm good. I can't do it no more. I'm done. And just shut it down. Or we can stay the course. We can just keep putting one foot in front of the other, not knowing when we're going to get relief from our internal struggle, what's going on and all of that stuff. And so, I remember, at times you're probably like, what? Some folks who I had shared was like, so how long are you going to do this for? I got that question. How long are you going to do this for?
Yeah.
Do you get any questions like that? What do you, if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, right? What?
Yeah.
Right. So those kind of questions come up.
Essentially, like, how long will this winter last?
And that's what I want to know.
This winter is only supposed to be temporary. How long is this winter going to last?
want no temporary. I don't like the cold anyway. I don't like the real winter. So I was like, I don't even like this. What is up with this? You know what I'm saying? What's up with this?
Not how long it's gonna last.
Yeah, not how long it's gonna last. What is this foolishness?
We should never.
You know what I'm saying? Can we move to a different climate? How do we stay there and not visit the winter? Oh my. Wait a minute. I think I just said something. That's what I wanted to know. How do I not visit the winter? I don't want to be in the winter. I want the relationship to be all good all the time. I know intellectually in my mind that's not really real, but I didn't want to be in this place of this great struggle. But what was happening during that process is that I was developing a different type of character. I was developing a different type of commitment, a different type of insight, a different type of ability to really expand my threshold for frustration, my tolerance for frustration, all kind of stuff. See, we think that these challenges come and we just need to hurry up and get over them and the other person needs to change. And what we don't realize is that in the midst of the challenge, because the two people who are attracted to each other often are opposites and they complement each other. They also challenge each other. You are supposed to be developing something. And so instead of asking the question, when will it be over? When will this be done? The question needs to be asked, what on earth, God, am I supposed to be getting from this? Lord, let me get the lesson.
Wow.
Because I'm ready to be over. But until I get the lesson, until I get information with whatever lesson I'm supposed to get, even if I'm right. And we know relationships are not about just being right? Yeah. What is the lesson I'm supposed to be getting? So the therapist, the counselor said to us, she said, look, I don't know when it's going to be over. It's going to be over when it's over. Y'all know that I was not feeling that answer. And she said, and guess what, sis? When that's over, there'll be another thing that comes on. There'll be another thing that comes on. That's just what it is to be in long-term committed relationship with another human being. Yes, Lord, LaDanya. She said, yes, Lord. And that thing right there, I was sad.
You were sad?
I was sad. I was like, this is pretty. This feels depressing. That's how I felt in the moment.
Yeah, I'm not going to knock your feelings.
Yeah, I mean, don't try to make it all better, all good, because what I want to capture is that it felt depressing for me in the moment. Facts, Devontae. I felt like, this is what's up. But what I didn't know, what I didn't realize is that when you stay the course, you actually do get to another season. You do get to another place. And so if we don't understand that or have an appreciation for that, what many people do is they tap out far too early, or they've been in it for a minute and they don't realize that you don't never get to no place where the season just stays still. It doesn't I don't care if you've been married 15 years. Oh, we just in the summer. Me and Ayize, we in the summer sipping a cool glass of lemonade. No. The seasons keep moving in your relationship. If you expect it, then you can stay ready and you don't have to get ready when you stay ready.
I mean, that's an excellent point that you make. One thing that I think about, I think you may have had a little bit too much already. You like spilling it all on yourself?
I haven't.
You forgot to drink?
Shut up.
So the point that I want to lift up is that my wife, she mentioned this whole piece around competency. And so, when you approach relationships from the understanding that, again, seasons are only temporary. When it comes to you being in the winter phase of your relationship, it's imperative to know that not only do you just sit still, not only do you take awareness to the fact that you're experiencing some pain, some anger, some resentment, and that type of stuff, but this is also an opportunity for you to prepare for a better season. And so if you're not doing the work in the wintertime, then when springtime comes, then you won't be ready to enjoy and experience that as well. So you got to make sure that you're being intentional during this time period and prior to this time period, so that when this time period does come, because again, as my wife just mentioned, inevitably everybody's going to experience some type of winter, that you're ready to deal with it and that you can manage yourself, manage your emotions, and manage the relationship during that time period. So again, recognize the fact that this season right here is only temporary if you're doing the work. If you're doing the work. And now in some of these relationships that we're speaking about, they made the decision to tap out. We're speaking about celebrity breakups right now. So they made the decision to tap out. Again, the question is why? A part of the reason why is because people don't have the relationship stamina to actually endure the trials, the tribulations, the trauma, the drama that they experience in a relationship. And it's not to say that you should deal with everything, but again, what's your relationship stamina? Do you have the breath to be able to go through a little something in your relationship and maybe even a lot of something in your relationship?
So here's the next lesson. And then I want us to talk about Black men and Black women in some particulars. It's something I want to lift up this evening. But before we go there, here's the next thing. We've already kind of hinted towards it, and you need to write this down in big letters. Loving someone is a choice. It's a choice. I know we all think like, I fell in love. You don't fall in love. You fall into a lot of things. You fall into infatuation, fascination. You make me feel good, right? You meet some of my needs that I didn't even know I had, right? You're a good comrade. You my buddy, right? But you don't fall into love. Love is a choice. And so when you choose, and I think I saw that James said this earlier. He said, James, you're dropping knowledge tonight, my brother. What did he say?
Why are you mad? You about to cut this off? Oh, you cut the video off last week.
I cut the video off last time. I'm not going to do it. But look, I see it. James said choices. I don't really see it. Hold up.
Boy, you about to jack this
I'm not about to. I want to see, James, I want to see your comment.
Here we go.
Okay, hold on. Let me leave it alone.
You about to jack it all
okay, he said, you know, choices. Okay, I can't see your comment. I don't know what it is, but James, he said something to the effect of the fact that choices become easy after you make a decision. And so you really do have to make a decision that I'm going to be in this, I'm going to be committed to this, and that I am going to choose every single day in my actions to love my partner. And that is not about, you know, choosing in your actions is not about like serving them tea. You know, choosing means that you do some really hard stuff that, you know what, you say, let me figure out what's going on inside of me, because half of the answer to any problem is in you. It's not just in them. So understanding that love really is a choice, that breaks down a lot of stuff, y'all, because it's a mindset. If you don't have that mindset, you are going to lose before you even get started. So I wanted to put that out there. Now I want to move really quickly to this because I think this is really important. I get a little bit in my feelings. And I'm just gonna be real.
I'm liking some of the comments that we're seeing over here on YouTube.
Oh, go ahead.
You know, I want to shout out Renee Brown. Actually, the True Royal family, 18 years strong. Black love is real.
Ooh, yes, go ahead. True Royal family.
Now, another sister, she says, I've been in this 17 years and I can't wait to get out.
Oh my!
She's like, get me up out of this piece right here. 17 years.
But this is what I am. This is what I'm concerned about. What I'm concerned about a lot of times is this. When it comes to our relationships, when I say our relationships, I'm talking about in the African-American community, Black folks, right? Oftentimes there is this dynamic that I hear very, very often. And it really, it causes me to get a little irritable, irritated. And there's truth to it. And there's also some suspect kind of stuff that goes along with it. So let me just get to it. So my brother, share
this video, y'all.
My brother with Jill Scott, he talked about the fact that she was controlling. He said that she had a lot of women in her family. There are no men in the family. You know, I told her, you know, I'm not the one that, you know, I can match her. She's met her match. Yeah. That was some of the comments that he made up to a publication. It might've been Gossip, I can't remember. And that, you know, she basically wants someone she can control. And so I get concerned because I know that this is a dynamic. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? This is a dynamic that we hear over and over again, where men don't feel like there's room being made for them, where women don't feel like they're getting the respect that they need, where men feel like women are overbearing and taking over, and, you know, they can't, you know, get a word in, they can't, you know, find their room in the relationship. So who's leading? Somebody said, you know, I want to lead. You know, I don't need a man to lead me. Somebody else said, you know, I may not need a man to lead me, but I want him to when I ask him to. There's men who say, like, I'd like to do this together, but we can't do it together because you always try to tell me what to do. And so one thing that I want to lift up this evening, and we talked about this before, but I'll talk about this as often as I can. In our community, when we go back to slavery, we know that there is this history of what, Baba? Of what? Men being pushed to the side and having to shrink so that they can survive, so that the young man can survive, so that the husband can survive. So he's got to learn how to keep it down. And the woman was pushed up and pushed forward so that she could take the lead and she could be at the head. And that stuff is still up in our DNA. They're still up in our DNA. And I'm not saying that anybody's more the wrong or whatever, right? Yeah. What I'm saying is that we got to get rid of that. We've got to be able to figure out how to get that stuff out of our dynamic because it's in us. And if we don't recognize that and see how that's connected to history, and we don't own that, we just kind of like, no, like, it's really not that deep. It's just that, you know, he needs to do this, or, you know, she needs to do that. Then we're going to stay at a place of really knocking heads all the time. How do you make room for your boo? How do you make room? Like, do you even make a point to do that? I try to figure out on an ongoing basis how to make room for him. You understand? Because I know my own personality. I know that I can actually show up being very, very, what's the word? Let me be careful. Exuberant, right? I can take up the space sometimes, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Let me make sure that my man has room and has space. How do we make sure that we do that on a regular basis? That stuff is real. When we just kind of get into our corners, and we do not make sure that we're coming out of our corners, our only agenda is to lift up our point, to get our message across, and we ain't concerned about how the message comes. You just need to catch it when I spit it out. We will not have success in any relationship. So this just, again, gets into this whole dynamic between Black men and Black women. I don't know how many times I go on YouTube, I go on Facebook, I'm all over the internet, and men are talking about women. That's why I would just rather have a white woman. Just go on ahead and give me an Asian woman, because I don't have time for all that yap, yap, yap. This yap, yap, yap has helped our people to survive and to get from one place to another place. Value it, but then we also have to learn how to, develop it, right? And to be respectful of it. And it's the same thing for our men, right? We've got to be able to recognize that. So I just want to speak some truth about that tonight. I get tired of that. And any of y'all, some of these folks talking about y'all want somebody of another color, and I'm not saying that it's not okay to do that. I'm not saying you can't go out and get with whoever you want to get with. But what I am saying is that there's a problem. There's a problem when we start to look at how it is that we can put down Black men, how we can put down Black women. You don't want to take part in those types of conversations, y'all, because it is a nasty dynamic, and it creates and spreads this negativity and this overarching, like, we can't get along to our young people. They come up saying the same stuff. You understand what I'm saying? And that thing is real. So I just want to put that out there tonight. Y'all might not have with it, but I got a problem with it, and I don't like it. I even saw that lifted up in some of these recent celebrity breakups, like, Black men and women, we just can't stay together. First of all, everybody be breaking up these days. Okay, so it's a lot of people do. I mean, we look at the divorce statistics. A lot of people do. But I'm just trying to say it's not a Black people thing, but we do sometimes struggle in ways when the general population has a cold. We have the flu, and that's for a number of dynamics, a number of variables.
Yeah, I mean, I like everything that you just said, and I think that it definitely.
You about to say something like, but
there is no but. I mean, it really illuminates the point that, as you just mentioned, when everybody else catches a cold, we catch the flu, and we do have some serious stuff that we need to work on in our community as it pertains to male-female relationships, or the Black man, Black woman relationship dynamic. And so, with that being said, I think that it is important to acknowledge at least that sometimes both men and women, we come incorrect. We're not handling our business when it comes to how we represent, how we show up, and how we honor our spouses in a relationship. And so, yes, there does exist tension in relationships. There exists tension in relationships between Black men and Black women. But a lot of that, if you were to look at the fact that when it comes to you being in relationships, it's because you got unresolved stuff within yourself. And so if you were to work on you, some of the tension that you experience in a relationship, it would be mitigated. It would be pretty much dead if you come into a relationship and you've dealt with you first. So it's imperative that you look at you before you get in a relationship. And I think that would actually impact the ability for Black men and Black women to be in a relationship, because, again, we become into relationships more whole, more complete, versus being fractured, injured, and more incomplete people in a relationship. And so, again, focus on you. Focus on you before you get in a relationship. And I think that if more of these celebrity couples were to do that, you wouldn't see the divorce rates as they are. If more people were to do that, you wouldn't see the divorce rate the way it is. If more people weren't so forced or so focused on jumping into a relationship because it feels good, it feels right, they think it's the right thing to do because family is pushing them towards that space. If they were to get into a relationship but do their own work first, people wouldn't be breaking up like they are.
But here's the thing. What about for all y'all folks out there that's in a relationship right now? You married. You've been married for a minute. You already up in it. What can you do? I think we've said this before. People always get irritated with us when we start to counsel them. When we say, we want to split you up. We want to do some individual work with you. You need to come with me, my sister. I need to talk to you for a little bit. And he's like, yeah, brother, like, let's come and holler at me. And we do this individual work. Wherever you find yourself, at any point in time, you can go and get some individual help. And, don't get me started on Black folks and I want to get counseling. I don't care if it's counseling, it's a coach, it's somebody that you trust. You can step outside of yourself and share what it is that you need, or say, I don't know. I don't know what to do. You can do that. So you can at any time, even if you find yourself in a relationship saying, like, I need to do something different. One of the biggest things that I have seen for people who have gotten divorced and, they look back And they may really have some legitimate stuff that say, it's time for me to stop. One of the things that I've noticed is that people do not speak up. Ooh. People don't speak up. They wait until the very, very end when it starts to get really rough. Or they say a little something, right? And they don't really bring that thing forward repeatedly. They don't actually put it out there. They get mad that the person doesn't take them seriously, but yet they really can only count on one hand how many times they really raise this issue. They haven't stayed the course. They haven't stuck with it. You can't keep stuff to yourself and stay in your head about things that are really bothering you, things that really make you feel upset, things that really bother you. You can't keep that to yourself. You are just as much. Ooh, I'm going to use the blame word, which I don't like to use, but you're just as much to blame when you all get to this place where you're really trying to figure out. You're trying to figure out, like, should we even be together when you have not said anything? And I saw that somebody just said, do you guys do one-on-one sessions? Yes, we do. reallovehelp.com. We do one-on-one sessions, and we'll drop that link, on the video when we're done. But here's the thing. Some people, and I think I saw Tony say this, are not open to counseling. Yes, that's true. Some people aren't open to counseling. What are you open to? What are you open to? Some people believe that two people have to be able to be on one accord and walk into the counselor's office together and go sit down and together talk about. That's not generally always how it works. No. Because we already know that dudes don't really be feeling the counseling thing like that anyway. You understand? They ain't feeling that anyway. And so you got to be willing to focus on yourself. When we are wanting things to happen just the way we want them to happen, then we will put down parameters to say, well, I can't do anything. I'm stuck in this place because he won't talk. He won't do this. She won't do that. But what can you do? What can you do? And the first thing that you can do, go ahead, y'all like that. What can you do? The first thing that you can do is speak up. Say what it is. I say this all the time. Why aren't you saying it? There's all kinds of ways to communicate. Why aren't you sharing it? I'm tired. I don't feel like doing it. But a lot of it is this. I don't want to be rejected. Let's be real.
I mean, fundamentally, that's what it is.
We don't want to be rejected. I don't want to keep saying it, right?
Yeah, I mean, because you take a risk when you say it. You take a risk when you expose what it is that you want, what it is that you need. I mean, there's a possibility that they might not act on it.
Right.
They might not move. They might not meet that need. And so, again, you expose yourself to risk when you do that. But the reality is that on the other side of risk is the reward.
Yeah.
So unless you're able or willing to put yourself in a position where you're willing to speak up and say, this is what I want, this is what I need, this is what I expect of you, then you won't be able to get the reward that actually comes from you doing that. So again, speak up, say your piece. Say your piece and let your partner know what it is that you want. And it doesn't have to necessarily come from a space where you're, like my wife mentioned a moment ago, blaming them for not doing something. No, advocate for what you want in the relationship. Advocate for your needs. You deserve to be honored. You deserve to get your needs met in the relationship, but they won't do it unless you let them know what it is that they need to do. They can't read your mind. And so many people are sometimes making a mistake that they think that their partner is supposed to get it. Now, we do speak about this dynamics when it comes to relationships, about anticipating. Anticipating.
You learning how to add.
Yeah, we do speak about this dynamic in relationships when it comes to anticipating your partner's needs. But that comes with relationship maturity. That comes with an understanding of, how your partner works, how they flow. Then you can begin to anticipate. That's a next level type of love. But in order to get to that space right there, you got to speak up and say your piece. You got to speak up and say what it is that you need and want.
And if you struggle in that area, all of us have our areas that we struggle in. But if you struggle in that area, what do you need? Courage. It's just courage. We tell people all the time, there are 3 C's that are needed for good relationships. What are they, baby?
Commitment.
Yeah.
Connection. And courage.
The 3 C's. So a lot of times we're thinking really deep about, this strategy or that, but sometimes you just need courage just to tell the truth. Telling the truth is just about the number one thing that you can do to solve about anything. That's my thing. Just own your voice. Tell the truth. So you have to have that courage. And so you got to go to places where you can get it, where you can create that within yourself, where you see other folks who are having that courage, right? That commitment, that connection, all of that's important. But if you don't have the courage and you're not willing to push yourself outside of your comfort zone, oh my. what are you expecting to get? What are you expecting to get?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
So here is the next thing that we can learn.
And if you're getting any value from this, y'all, please share on your timeline.
Share it on your timeline and let folks know. This one is big, y'all. And I have to say, this one is something that I think most people are familiar with, but we forget it.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to these 3 words and write them down. Recovery takes time.
Mm.
Recovery takes time.
Mm.
So what do I mean by that? So if we just look at Lawrence Fishburne and Gina Torres, so that was just last year that they broke up. I'm not trying to judge nobody. I am not trying to judge nobody, right? I don't know how long they for real been apart. People be apart for like ever, and they don't be official, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know the dynamics. I just want to be clear about that. But she's with somebody else, right? She's been out and about and kissing on somebody else, right? You know, do you, boo, right? But here's the thing. How many people have we talked to?
What you mean, do you, boo?
If that's what she wants to do, that she can do that. You know, so I'm just saying, like, do you, right? I'm not trying to hate on her, right? But what I'm saying is this: we don't want to be alone. We don't want to have any time to recover from anything. So if you have been in a relationship before and you now find yourself where you're in a place of pause, or maybe you were in a really good place with your partner and now you and your partner are really having some distance between you and it's not vibing like it was, you know, because of some issues that happened. Recovery takes time. You can't make it just snap back like you want it to be. So sometimes we need to learn how to be with ourselves and by ourselves. And we need to have discipline to say, no, I'm not going to connect with another person too quickly. And so that I can run all up in that relationship and do the same thing that I did last time, because wherever you go, there you are, right? Well, I'm not going to do that. And if you are already in a committed relationship, if you are married and you're in a bad place or a place that you'd rather not be, don't rush the process, right? Oh my goodness. I see my sister Nika said, we can't rush the process. You took the words right out of my mouth. We can't rush the process. So recovery takes time. Allow yourself to be in recovery. Allow yourself to focus on yourself. Take care of yourself. If you are looking to your partner to do some things for you that they are not doing or that they are not meeting, sometimes while we are in the process, we got to do what? Do it for ourselves, because I bet you about half of the stuff that you want from them, you need to do for yourself. It is probably inappropriate, and it is not what you should be looking to them for to begin with, because it's some of your own stuff wrapped up in there. I know I'm guilty of that, right? So we got to be able to get to ourselves on some level and challenge ourselves to fill up our own cup before we ask somebody else, give me some of yours. Well, what you got though? But what you got? So some of it is that, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's really serious, y'all. I want y'all to marinate and meditate on what my wife just mentioned in terms of like not rushing the process. And I'm gonna lift this up right here because we actually just recently worked with a couple, and this particular issue was you know, something that came to the forefront. And you know, I got this not just from this one couple, but you know, from a number of people that we've actually experienced in the work that we do in terms of being therapists and stuff. And so of course I'm not gonna give any specific names or anything like that, but what I do want to lift up is that when it comes to this healing process, we want to make it a point to like bring everybody along with us, our partner along with us when it comes to the individual work that we need to do.
Oh my, say that again.
We want to bring our partner along with us when it comes to the individual work that we need to be doing. Now peep this right here, y'all. The reward that you get from doing your individual work will only come if you go through a particular door that's made specifically for you.
Oh my, don't make me.
There's a specific door that's made for you that only you can fit through.
Yes.
And so I want to lift up the point that when it comes to you walking through that door, yes, you're thinking about your partner. Yes, you're thinking about your children. But in order for you to have the healing, to experience the new you got to go through that door first by your damn self. You got to go through it by yourself first, and then you can reach back and get your partner, get your children, get the community so that they can experience the healing along with you. So again, the reality is that some things you need to be doing by yourself because only you can experience the healing once you go through the process.
Give me an example.
And the process is a painful process. The process is a lonely process. The process is a scary process. But once you go through the process, again, you'll be a better person so you can reach back and get your partner and they can experience the new you.
You did that thing. Give me an example. I know I'm like putting you on.
I need to have a drink right here.
I mean, I want. Do you all understand that? Do you understand that There are certain things that we are focused on our relationships so much about, and it's really what we should be focusing on ourselves with. And so my husband says you got to go through your own door. What he's talking about is this ability to be on your own, even in your relationship, to have good, healthy boundaries, to understand, like, you know, this is all me. Yeah. Or you know what, I'd like for him to be in this with me and join me over here with what I'm doing, because I think we need this, but he's not there right now. Because each of us travels our own path as we walk together. And if we would have the courage, and I can speak on this thing for sure for myself, we would have the courage to walk alone a little bit, even in the relationship, just walk alone a little bit. Your partner look up and be like, what's she doing? Where's she going? What's that about? And they'll pay attention to you, because this brother right here has modeled for me in so many ways over the years. He's modeled for me, and I've been able to learn not by anything that he said, but all about who he is and how he's done in our relationship. And so that can only happen if he's doing something on his own. That's the only way that can happen.
Absolutely.
So here is the last thing that we want to say this evening, when it comes to looking at what we can learn from divorcees, people who have gone through divorce, and people who get to this place. This is really, really important. Really important. So I want y'all to get your pens out. I want you to pay attention, and I want you to lean forward. What is for you is for you. And this may sound real woo-woo, but what is for you is for you. There is nothing that I could have ever done when I look back over my relationship with my husband. There's nothing that I could have ever done, really, to get myself off course. I could have been completely consumed by the fact that we were struggling so hard with money back in the day, that we just didn't have a lot of money. And I was so upset and so nervous and so fearful. I could have really been thrown off with the fact that in some ways I felt like he didn't understand me, and he didn't meet some of my needs, and he wasn't, affirming of me in some ways. He could have been thrown off by the fact that I might have been just a little bit, rah-rah, overbearing, not listening. I don't know.
No.
Yeah. Does that sound accurate?
No.
Oh, well, what is it then?
It was a little bit more. Yeah, just a little bit.
So we could have been thrown off by our struggle, right? But you have to learn that the struggle is so much a part of the process. You have to respect your struggle, and you have to know that what's for you is for you. You're on a path. The path may go to the left and to the right and up and down and all around. You're like, where we at? What's this? I'm out. I'm done. I can't do this. But you ain't know that you down in the valley in your relationship, but you just getting ready to go up and out of it. You just have to stay the course. This is a universal principle. This is a universal law. This is something that you can apply to your individual self. And absolutely, these things we can apply to our relationships. Why do we have so much fear when it comes to our relationship? Because it's not just us. It's somebody else who can impact us, right? And they can scare us, and they can do all kinds of things to take us out of our comfort zone. But I'm telling you right now that you have to be willing to not just do your own personal surrender with whatever you got going on in your life, but you have to surrender your relationship. You have to understand that, you know what, ultimately, I'm not in control of every single thing and how it goes down, or whether she listens to me, whether he's feeling me, whether he lifts me up, whether she does this. I'm not in control of all that. But what I do know is that if I stay the course and I'm focused on myself, I'm focused on what I can be doing, I'm telling y'all what I know. I'm not telling you something that I'm making up. I see some of y'all like, yeah, go ahead and say that, preach. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna do that. But I'm not just doing it to make you feel good. I'm telling you that we've been through a lot of stuff. And I'm telling you that the stuff that we've been through has tried us. And we did not allow it to break us. You do not have to do that. You don't have to do that. So I see right here, I just want to lift up this question right here. Shonda says, I need him to keep a job. Pay his half. I'm so tired of holding everything down. He says he's trying, but he has no job skills. He can't work a computer and thinks he's too good for $12 an hour. Well, I remember something like that. Like, I would go, let me tell you something. If I find myself in a situation where I'm no longer to make some money, you will see me down at the Shoppers Food Warehouse talking about some boop. How you doing? How you doing today?
That's your dream job anyway.
It is. I actually really do want to I for real, I'm serious. That's what I want to do. Maybe I could do it in retirement or something. When I was little, I'm sorry, I'm digressing just a bit, but when I was little, we used to take the groceries out when we got home in the house, and on the table, our table, there was a little line, and the line was my little doop. I literally played that game. I don't know why I'm into that. So anyway, well, my point is that I told my husband back in the day we were struggling for money. I said, look, I will go and I'll be the checkout person. I'll go work at Walmart and stand and be like, how you doing? Come back again. You know what I'm saying? I will do that. And what you tell me? What you tell me when it came to you?
I wasn't doing it.
He wasn't doing it.
Nope.
So we just have an honest, real, courageous conversation this evening. That's what this is all about, y'all. All of us being able to grow and learn from each other. So Shonda, I lifted that up because we've been there.
Yeah.
We've been there, and I could say more, but I'm gonna pass it on to you. What you say? Okay. What you
I like
say?
the way you went ahead and just tossed that thing on too. I mean, you threw me the oop.
He said he took over $12 an hour. Y'all, what do y'all think about that?
So here's the thing.
And she's struggling. She's frustrated, and we've been there, and we got through it.
So I want to frame my answer appropriately. And first of all, what I want to say is that there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with
what? Operating from that space or working that type of gig.
Absolutely not.
No. I think that it's actually commendable. The brothers and sisters who step into that space and
Excuse me.
What are you doing?
I'll be right back.
The brothers and sisters who step into that space and are able to hold down their families and hold down their commitment and stuff like that. When it comes to what? I mean, how you gonna be over there and then really on the video but talking to me? And so
step into that space.
I'm trying to. Can I make my point?
I mean, that's like a real job.
You want? Go ahead, pick up the mic.
No, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, pick it back up.
I'm sorry.
So the point that I'm trying to make here is this: the thing that got in the way for me was my ego, and egos will kill a relationship.
Oh my! Whoop! Y'all write that down. Egos will kill a relationship.
And so, fortunately, my wife, she has some sense of understanding. And again, my position was one, I had the mindset of one.
I ain't really had a whole bunch of understanding. I was firing you up.
I mean, he was firing me up. But again, my position was I'm trying to make money in another type of way. I'm trying to hustle as an entrepreneur and get money this other type of way. And so in my mind, the way I rationalized my behavior and my actions was that I was still bringing money in. It might not have been adequate, but again, I was still bringing money in. And I just thought that if this thing right here just popped, you would never have to work again. And so that was my mindset. And so to work at a $12 or $12, 14-hour job, $14 per hour job, to take 8 hours out of the course of a day, to me, that would interfere with what I was trying to do, my whole grand scheme in terms of trying to liberate you from the position that you were in. So that was my mindset. But again, that was some rationalization that I was doing because ultimately what I should have been doing is prioritizing you, prioritizing the children, and doing what I had to do. So even if it was a $7 an hour job, even though it didn't make sense to me, if that's what you were wanting me to do, and if that's what would bring more money into the family,
go to the grocery store. Hold on.
I mean, if that's what ultimately would end up, helping the family out, then that's something that I should have done. And I see somebody put Latice put ego, edging God out. Yes,
that's
indeed.
Right.
I mean, that's the reality right there.
I'm sorry. I know sometimes I get re-traumatized, so I have to let it out.
Go ahead.
He said something. It didn't make sense to me.
It didn't.
But I know it makes sense when you go to the grocery store. You ever been to the grocery store? And you go to the grocery store and you got a budget. Anybody know about a budget? And you go in the grocery store and you like, okay, what I got in this account, what I can do. And it's $75 or it's $60 or maybe it's $20. And you're talking about something, well, $12 an hour.
I feel you, brother. I feel that way now.
Or $14 an hour. But if you would have worked 3 more hours somewhere, or you understand, then we would have, what is 12 times 3? $36 more for me to get some oatmeal and some other stuff. Anyway, my point is that sometimes we are not clear about what's needed in the moment. We're not needed. We're not clear about what's needed in the moment. And I think that this is something that I've seen a lot in the work that we've done with men and women, where men...
This would definitely cause a fracture in relationships because, I mean, a lot of the brothers on here will vouch for the fact that they may have been in this space. And even a lot of the sisters may be in this space right now where they feel exactly what I just now mentioned. One brother just said he's in this space right now. And so again, we lift this up to say that this thing is real, y'all. It's not easy being in relationship, especially when you're dealing with money issues. And even bigger than the money issues themselves, individuals have their own individual drives that they bring into the relationship and desires and goals. And they think this particular action or this course right here will impact the relationship for the better. So you couldn't have told me nothing back in the day when it came to my actions negatively hurting the relationship, because in my mind, what I'm thinking is that I'm trying to improve the quality of our life in the long run by focusing on what I'm focusing on right now. And so I really believe that. I really believe that. And a lot of men and women believe that as well. Right now in relationships, and the relationship and also the family is suffering because they're taking these particular steps. And so what I learned through the course of my relationship, what I've learned through the course of being in a relationship with my wife, but also having our children, is that first things first, y'all. We got to eat. And if I don't eat, they got to eat.
Well, yes.
And if they eating, then that extra time that I got, that's the time that I can use to invest towards building what I'm trying to build, so that she ain't got to worry about doing nothing else anymore, and I ain't got to worry about doing nothing else anymore. I mean, that's just the reality right there. One thing that I want to lift up, though, y'all, is that, my wife, she just mentioned that recovery takes time. Marriage has seasons. Yeah. People tap out prematurely when it comes to a relationship. One thing that I've used in our counseling sessions with couples is, there's one particular scene. Any of y'all out here fans of Rocky? The Rocky series, the Rocky franchise?
I love Rocky. Me, our family, we like to just sit and watch Rocky.
Yeah, and so there's one particular scene that took place in one of the films. It was Rocky 3, actually. In Rocky 3, Apollo Creed called Rocky into the gym after Rocky got whooped by Mr. T. And his name wasn't Mr. T. I forget his name in the movie. But when he got whooped by Mr. T, he called him into the theater. And I say the theater. It's blaming on the
okay.
He called him into the ring. And essentially, Rocky's going through the motions. So Apollo Creed is whooping up on him, beating him, whooping up on him, throwing jabs, throwing hooks, throwing all of that type of stuff. And he's whooping up on him. And Rocky is just going through the motions. And so there comes a point where Apollo Creed actually is just like really whooping that ass. And he's really digging into him. And Rocky fundamentally just makes a decision like, I'm just not fighting no more. And so Rocky's decision that he made, that I'm not fighting no more, what he explained to what he said after he made that decision by putting his hands down and allowing himself to get beat up on, what he said was that we can come back to this thing tomorrow. We can do this thing tomorrow. And what Apollo Creed said, y'all, that really stood out to me was that there is no tomorrow.
Oh, my.
There is no tomorrow. And so when he said that, again, this is Rocky 3, when he said that, essentially what he was lifting up is that you got to put everything in this thing today. Today.
Yes.
Some of y'all are waiting on tomorrow when it comes to your relationship, but you got to invest all that you got into your relationship today.
I'm in church right now.
When you get off of this live stream right here, lean over and connect in with your partner. When you go to bed at night, touch your partner. There is no tomorrow. Focus on today. What are you going to do today to enhance the quality of your relationship? What are you going to do today to enhance the quality of you? Again, there is no tomorrow, y'all.
You know what? At the end of the day, it always comes back down to our individual issues and our individual choices. I always say that, we're all just born. I know that was good. And Alicia said, damn. That was good. Like there is no tomorrow. There's today. So if there's only today, what will you do differently today before you lay your head down tonight? Even if you don't do something, but you determine and decide that you're going to do something. But at the end of the day, I always say that people, all of us were born, we come into the world, and what happens? We get some issues. Even having the best of parents with the best of intentions, we're going to get some issues. And then we grow up so that we can, get some more issues, because now we out in the world and people have, ladled stuff onto us and we're like sponges. We take it all in. And then we attract a partner, or we're looking for a partner to fill up things that they should not be filling up and to help us in ways they should not be helping us. And if we're lucky, we get some good information and we get some insight so that we can start realizing that our partner can actually help us grow and become all that we're supposed to be if we put our game face on and we live, like my husband said, like there is no tomorrow, fully present in the relationship, fully trying to do the best of what we can so that we do not get to the places that so many people find themselves today in places of divorce, in places of separation, and certainly we tell people all the time when we're counseling people, we love marriage, we are pro-marriage, but we are not just pro-marriage because everybody just need to be married just because. We are about healthy relationships. So certainly, let me just put that qualifier out there. Some people don't need to be married. Some relationships and some marriages need to dissolve ASAP. ASAP, right? So we're clear about that.
We didn't talk about Tamar and Vince.
We didn't talk about Tamar and Vince. If they had domestic violence stuff going on, that might have been one of them that needs to dissolve ASAP. She's not even talking to her mama now. She's not talking to her because her mother said something about him hitting on her.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's a whole nother situation. But at the end of the day, y'all, we just gotta try. We gotta be present. We gotta do the best of what we're able to do so that we can get the best of what we really can get. And you can do it. But are you giving your best? Are you giving it all? If you have some concern about where you are right now, I'll tell you about what I'm thinking about later. If you're having some concern about where you are right now in your relationship and you are not sure about what the next step should be, perhaps you are really struggling right now, I want you to visit reallovehelp.com. I want you to contact us. You can contact us by going to reallovehelp.com. There's a little form there to be able to fill out and give us some information if you want some feedback from us. We do provide counseling and coaching. But at the end of the day, we can tell you all kind of stuff. You got to decide to do something different.
Absolutely.
You got to decide to do something different.
I'm going to do something tonight. I'm going to do something tonight to make sure that we won't experience no winter tomorrow. I am. I'm letting y'all know right now.
I knew you was going to go there. All right, guys.
There is no tomorrow.
There is no tomorrow. Today.
Today. Tonight.
Okay.
In a few minutes.
Yes, reallovehelp.com. We'll drop the link as well. And so again, guys, we hope that this has been of help to you. We hope that this has given you something that resonated with you, that stood out with you, reminding you that whatever hit your spirit, whatever dropped in your head, you was like, oh, wow, that's what you're supposed to be focusing on. That's what you're supposed to be making sure you pay attention to, because all of us got our stuff. My stuff look a little different than yours. His stuff look a little different than his, right? But all of us got our stuff. Figure it out, press forward, and create the relationship that you deserve. One baby step at a time. Yeah. All right, guys, that's it. That's all. Stop playing. Start pushing. Bye. See y'all next week.
Peace.